the staff, when I first came on here, we all went down to a conference in Fort Myers. Several of our adult leaders here went with me, and yes, it was a life-changing experience for us. DJ was our small group facilitator. We started small groups here shortly after that. Our small groups are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
We do life together, and you guys, DJ introduced me to how that works. That small group, he set me in my place several times. I don't know if you remember that, but it knew how to ask the right questions to get me talking, which I didn't like to do. But anyway, it was a really rough couple days for me, but it was life-changing. So DJ's come once before to the old red building and spoke to you guys on New Year's Eve about a year and a half ago. So we are super excited that Darius Judge is back tonight to speak to you guys, to bring you guys a message. Let me say just one more thing about DJ. He plays a mean game of werewolf, guys, and he lies really well. So when it comes to games, he's very competitive. Learn that real quick. You know, he will put you in your place really fast. So DJ, come on up. Guys, give it up for Darius Judge.
Hello. Good? All right. I've never used one of these things before, so good. All right, so before I get us started, just really quick. So Friday night, I'm driving home, and I'm like, I have nothing to wear to come here. You know, I want to look nice. You know, I ended up wearing this shirt, which is so much better. So I'm driving to go to Target, and I get a call. So throughout my life, there's been different families that I've just walked into that have just taken care of me, and I can look at them as a family. I get a call Friday night, and the mom says, "Hey DJ, do you have a second? Logan was driving home tonight, and he got in a car accident and hit a light pole. Tomorrow they will be amputating his legs, and he'll lose his legs basically." In that moment, obviously I start crying. One of the most emotional people you ever meet. I just start crying. I'm sitting there in the car and just easily like, okay, where's he at? Bradenton, let me drive there. Let me go there. Like, let's figure this out kind of thing. And then there's like, but wait, you're speaking on Sunday, right? Just sitting there in a car crying, and it's just that moment of, I can look at my life and what has gotten me here today. The whole thing, the pastor this morning talked about point A to point B, where Jesus has taken me, the things that I've gone through, the hardships, and how hard it's been, but having God next to me, having God in me, just giving me the strength to say, like, I know he's got it. Right? I know he's going to take care of it. Me going there is not going to change anything, but he's got it. And having trust in him that there's a reason that I'm here today, that he's going to take care of that. But before I start, I want to pray. I just want to sit here. If you guys could just pray for him. All right, just bow your heads. Just pray for Logan. Just lift him up to God, because I know he will heal. And I know that with all of us praying, it's just going to be so exciting. He's going to feel it. So I'm just going to give us a second, and I'll pray, okay? God, just thank you for this. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for what you're doing in each of our lives. And I thank you that we can feel safe in you. I just pray that tonight, it's you. None of me, but all of you. Your words, your strength, your healing. Give us something to be excited about. God, we're so blessed to have you in our lives. We're so excited for what you're going to do tonight. Not only tonight, but in the rest of our lives. So God, I just lift up Logan, having complete trust in you, knowing that you have an awesome plan in this, knowing that years down the road we're going to be able to celebrate this. Just thank you for being a good father. And we love you. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. So awesome. So I'm Darius Judge, as I was introduced. Kind of told you where I come from, how I got to know them, why I'm here today. So last time I came here, I got to share my testimony. Easy. right? I know my life. I know where I'm from. It's not something I have to practice. It's not something I have to remember. I can tell you where I've been, and I can tell you what's gotten me here, right? And so in that, I get a text from Josh. Josh goes, hey man, like, we're praying, like we want somebody to come and speak. Would you be willing to come up here? Instantly, it's like, man, let me pray about that, and I'll let you know. Say that, and terrified. What am I going to talk about? I've never had to actually talk, write a sermon, come up with something to think about. This fear, this doubt, like who am I? I've been a Christian since 2014, so 3.5 years maybe. So I'm going to stand in a room with a bunch of people that have gone to church. All this doubt comes into my life, and not knowing your stories, but knowing mine, and then being like, how do I look at myself? How do I see myself? I'm not good enough. This doubt, the whole enemy starts to attack me in this moment. So I give myself a couple of days, and just nothing positive comes out of these thoughts. And so I just decide to jump. Decide to text Josh, because if I sat there and let it happen, there's no way I was going to be here. So I text Josh, absolutely, man, I'll do it, right? That trust in God, that God's going to do something cool and work in me. And as I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, okay, well, where have I come from to take me there? Because a couple of years ago, there would have been no way. So what has got me to a place to jump, to leap, right? So I'll give you some background of myself. Single parent household. All right, so I have a mom, 4 siblings, no Jesus. Jesus is nothing, right? Pretty much given nothing. So I can look at the world and say, the world is nothing. All right? I want to show you a picture real quick. Come on. Cool. So kind of old picture. But, so I have my little brother on the far right next to me. So my right, his name's Shaden. In the middle, I have my sister Kaya. Next to her is Zion, and then next to him is Keanu. That's pretty much been my whole life. Everything that's mattered to me, everything I hold on to, what's kept us together. That's what I've grown up with. My mom's the one taking the picture so you can't see her, but she's there. But that's what I've held on to. That's what I've seen, that's what I've known, right? When I was 10 years old, I left that. I walked away from that. So I was sexually abused. In that, anger grew towards my mom. I walked away from that. Didn't want to be around, right? Felt not loved, felt not seen. How could you let this happen? From that point on, I go through this whole life happens. I'm 10 years old, throughout middle school, high school, just start making bad decisions, angry, can't talk to people. No one wants to talk about that. Even to this day, I still struggle in talking about that issue and what has come from that. And so I felt this anger, I felt sad, and where are you going to put that? Obviously, you're going to, for me, put that in God. This person that everybody talks about, and he can be so exciting and so wonderful, but I don't see it. I don't see it. So this point in life, I go through high school, angry, and this transition is this is where I stop. So I talk about last time I come here, how cool God's been, like the way he saved me. I shared the miracle moment for me when God took me under his wing. But jumping from that, the coolness, like really wanting to just share like where our relationship's been, the cool things on how I can not just say God saved me and God's brought me into his life, but really dive into how cool, how unique, the way he's made me felt loved, seen, and known. So I look at famous. So famous, you think of somebody famous and you're like, you know them. Like you don't have to pay attention to the basketball world and you know who LeBron James is, right? You don't have to pay attention to social media to know who Kim Kardashian is, right? They're just people, good or bad, you know who they are, right? You know from all areas of life. You've seen them. They're known by people that don't know them, or that they don't know, right? So I look at famous and what does that look like in my life to feel seen and feel loved? So I just want to share a cool story, probably one of my favorite stories in the Bible, and just really looking at this transformation. I like to say a friend, just how a friend can share their testimony and what they've gone through and where God's used them, and how you can take that and maybe not relate in the same story, but he can guide you, right? And so if you guys have Bibles, if not, you don't need it. I'm going to verbally give you the story anyways. It's going to be 1 Samuel 16. So I'll give you a second. So 1 Samuel starts off, you got a man named Saul. He's on his downfall, right? And so you have Samuel, who's mourning. He's mourning over Saul's downfall, and God just tells him, basically, snap out of it. I'm sending you somewhere else. So he sends him to find this man, Jesse. Samuel goes, finds this man, Jesse, and the whole point was, okay, God is going to anoint one of his sons. So Samuel walks into this house, and he sees the first son. The man's Eliab, pretty sure, yeah, Eliab. So he sees him, and he's just instantly like, clearly, this guy is the one who's anointed, right? He's got all the physical features, and so instantly this must be the man. And I look back at my life and say, yeah, going back to that fear thing, right? I can look at someone and say, they definitely deserve to be up here way more than me. They have it. They're what everybody wants to look at. I don't have it. Nobody sees me. I'm invisible. I'm not important. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I think that any of us in this room can say we've been there at some extent. Like, maybe I don't have the finances. I'm not as rich as this person. Or maybe I'm the athlete that's not as good as this person over here. Or maybe, hey, I don't get as many likes, so I have to take that picture off, right? So we get to this point where I see myself as something that's not important, right? And I look at this story and it's like Samuel, the guy that Jesus sends, still looks at somebody and says, this is clearly who God wants. And God just laughs at him and says, you don't know me. Let me read this. He says, whew. Samuel took one look at Eliab and thought, surely this is the Lord's anointed. The Lord said to Samuel, don't judge by his appearance or height, for I have rejected him. The Lord doesn't see things the way that you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So I play this, I read this, it's in me, right? But they're just words still, right? They're just words. They sound good, but I want to see it. I want to feel it. I can say, God, man, you're so awesome. I hear you, but I'm still insecure. I'm still fearful, right? So he goes and says this. So then after you see Samuel go to the next son. All right, nope, not him. The next son, no, not him. Then he goes to the third one. No, not him. And looks at Jesse and says, is there any more? Jesse's response is, there's a younger one and he's out in the field. Just with that response, I can say, wow, that's how he's looked at. He doesn't say his first name. So just the younger one, the one that's out in the field, right? So David's the one in the field, but David, you gotta think, this is who he's coming from. He's coming from a family whose parents can't even call him by his name because they don't even consider him that important. He's not the first one they want to send out there. He's not the one they want the Lord to be proud of, right? And so he puts this on him and says, the younger one, Samuel sends for him. He says, go get him. Bring him in. We will not eat until he gets in the house. So he goes out. They get him. They bring him in, right? David's anointed. David gets anointed. What's he do? He goes back out into the field. So I'm here. I'm in a family that doesn't see me. They don't want me. But I have a job to do. I have a job to do. Because I believe, see, David believes that there's something greater. David knows it's coming. David has his trust in him. And so I see this, I'm like, okay, all right, David, why? Like, what are you doing here? So David goes back out into the field. Samuel leaves. A couple of days later, we're going back to Saul. So Saul in this, God puts this demon over him, this evil spirit, right? He starts going through depression and fear. He starts having this hard time. And so his two workers, they come up to him and they're like, we need to do something for this. Like, what's going wrong? So they come up with this idea, let's get some music. Let's get music that'll make you feel better, that'll bring some glory, so angels are going to come, it's going to be awesome. So they're like, do you know anybody? So they start talking amongst each other, and the one guy goes, what about Jesse's son? Jesse's son's David. I've heard him out in the fields many of times. He plays a harp. He's just awesome. He's dope. It's the best music you're going to get. So he sends for him, right? So now Saul's like, go get him. David sent for a second time. So they go and get him. He comes back, just plays music, and they say that when David played, everything bad went away. So when David plays this music, everything bad goes away. This is still that kid that has not seen not heard by his own family, but because he's doing what he's supposed to do, because he's out in the field, somebody else walking by sees him, right? Because he was anointed and decided to go back out into the field and do his job, he's called upon. He doesn't go out and look for Saul. He doesn't say, he's not going out and filling out applications, hey, I hate my job, I need something else to do. He's sent for. So they send him because he's playing great music, he's out in the field, they send him, and then he starts coming, playing, everything's good. And so Saul's like, man, I love this guy. We need this guy. Everything's going good. So David starts building this relationship with Saul, not knowing still, hey, I'm anointed, but I'm not the king yet. Saul's the king. I should be the king. I know I'm going to be the king, but I'm still going to play music for you, right? I'm still going to respect you and do what I'm supposed to do right now. So they bring him in. Goes on to, you see, his brothers. So David's brothers are part of Saul's army. They're out in the field. They're battling. And David comes home. He walks in one day. So this is the kid again, who's out in the field working very hard. And his dad says, hey, I know you just got done working, but I need you to bring some food to your brothers in the front line. So take some grilled cheese and go bring it to your brothers. Again, you're the one who doesn't see me. You're the one who doesn't know me. You're the one that treats me the way you treat me. And you're telling me and asking me to go do something for you? No questions, nothing. Yes, sir. Goes out, takes the grilled cheeses to his brothers. His brother sees him, the one's like, what are you doing here? David's asking too many questions. He's annoyed. He's frustrated with his little brother who's bringing him food. David comes out there. David gets out there, gets these grilled cheeses, and what's he see? He sees this man Goliath. Goliath's out there, and he's just belittling the Israelites. Nothing, yada yada. This is little David that was anointed in the field, that's not seen, that's not heard. And he said, what's this guy doing? Everybody else is pushing back, right? Everybody's scared, everybody's terrified. He just wants in. He wants in. He knows God. He knows him. He has this relationship. He trusts him. Not fearful, but he trusts him. So we go into this story. You see David. He steps up. He's like, okay, let me get some rocks, and he's going to go take on Goliath. Everybody else, what do? David, you can't do it. I'm going to doubt you, David. I don't see you, David. I don't know what you can do. It's that whole, you don't see me, you're right. But in the meantime, when you guys had me out in the fields playing music, right? A lion came. A bear came. When I was out in the fields doing what I was supposed to do, when none of you guys were paying attention to me, I was doing what I was supposed to do. I protected the field. I took down the lion. I took down the bear. So you don't believe in me, but you know who does believe in me? The man upstairs, right? So he goes out there. He takes down Goliath. Everybody's in all right. David wins. So you can sit. We celebrate the story all the time. For me, I'm like, man, there's so much more than just David beating Goliath. This man did everything he was supposed to do. He went from point A to point B to point C, not on his own time. He just went step by step by step. He did what he was supposed to do to get him there. He did everything he was supposed to do without being asked, without questioning it, not caring who was belittling him, knowing who he was in God. So I go back and I say, all right, well, who am I in God? What am I doing in my life now? Like, what am I holding on to in my life now that is hurting that relationship? That's keeping me away from completely trusting Jesus, keeping me away from just taking that lead, keeping me away from just being so humble to say, yes, I will bring them grilled cheese. And so I'm looking at this, and just often, every day, I play this in my life. And so I wake up, what can I do to get there? What has he done for me? This is the God that 10 years ago I hated life, right? And went on suicide. This is the God that said, DJ, I got you, right? This is the guy who gives a random guy my phone number, and this random guy calls me and then saves my life that night, right? And so I'm pulled in all the time of like, what can I do, right? So full circle in my life, the coolness, where I'm at now, how this God continues to give me just all in relaxed and just know He knows me, he sees me, and he's all I need to notice me, right? He's what makes me famous, and I'm not famous to the world, right? But I'm famous to him. And so I can celebrate that in this moment. And to bring this to where I am now, so Jesus, I start this path of, okay, God, you saved me. I get baptized in Nicaragua. Like, what's that look like? What are my steps? And so I'm going through this, and I go back to being on this single parent household, where those fears come from. So I start one by one, like, okay, what am I fearful in this? All right, so I had no dad in my life. Because I had no dad in my life, that's made me like the odd kid out in the sports world, right? I don't have the guy throwing me baseballs. I don't have the parents come to the game for me after I left my mom. I don't have this, right? So I'm fearful because the people that are supposed to love you most don't love me, right? That's how I felt. Doesn't mean that was true, but that's how I felt, right? So let's tackle this, God. Okay, what's this look like? To just sit in that moment. Hey, what does this look like? Oh, this is cool. So a year ago, last time I came here, I got to share my story on being saved and everything. And I talked about this one guy who just completely took me under his wing, has really shown me who Jesus was, has walked me through who Jesus was, and has given me that earthly father that I've always looked for in a person, right? He's led me in every way, and because of him, like, I found Jesus, and I can celebrate in that. God didn't stop there. I think about choices that we have to make in life. It is hard, no matter what you're going through, it is hard to come to a place to say, I'm going to let go and let you take it. You could be going through so many hard things, so many things you don't want to let go, and that could be bad friends. That could be bad choices that you're making. Things that have made you feel good, right? When you didn't feel like God was there, they made you feel good. That's what you've held on to. But it's a choice. That's right. The biggest choice that God has had in my life is to say, DJ, the one that drinks when he shouldn't be drinking, right? Drinks too much, makes a mess of it, right? The kid that curses, the kid that doesn't listen at school, the kid that just goes out and does whatever he wants. God has a choice, right? This God that we believe in has looked at that DJ for 23 years, the guy who messes up, who feels crappy about everything. God has looked at him and says, I want you. Come here. But I have to believe that, right? I have to get to a place where I believe that. Oh, but he's made me believe it. Let me tell you. The guy I've been talking about, his name's Tony. Took me in, showed me a lot. Last year, I'm 24 years old. This is going to sound crazy, right? It sounds crazy, it looks crazy. I wasn't adopted as an adult. Tony adopted me. And he didn't just adopt me and say, hey, DJ, you're this little baby that I don't know anything about, but I know you're coming from a hard world, and so I'm going to take you in and then just love me and me grow up that way and just take good care of me. He says, DJ, I've lived with you for 2 years. Before you believed in Christ, I've heard everything bad that you've done. You've cried in my arms when you feel like you've disrespected me, when you've hurt me. You've ran away from me when I didn't want you, and acted like I didn't want you. And every day, he chased after me. He's chased after me, and he's giving me the perfect picture of who Jesus is. Because adoption is a choice, right? God has a choice to take you in the midst of everything wrong that you're doing, and he says, no, it's okay. I still love you. You're going to learn, right? You're going to go through hard things, but I still want you. I want to teach you. I want to make you this woman. I want to make you this man. I want you to stand tall and be able to celebrate who I am, right? I want you to come up here and worship and mean it. I'm going to choose you. I'm going to choose you. And I've been able to sit in that and say, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have chosen me. But it didn't matter because he did. 5 years ago, I wouldn't stand up here and talk in front of anybody and say, God is good, right? But now I'm up here and I am. I'm up here chosen by God. Like every one of you guys is chosen But at some point, just got to accept it. At some point, you have to take the awkward hug and let him just take you in. All right? Let him hold you. When you want to let go, he's going to hold you tight. We always joke, me and my dad, he's up back there, the guy I'm talking about, he's right there recording me. We talk often about the way he hugs me. I run up to him and he hugs me, and then it's just this awkward, like, okay, I'm done hugging, and so I kind of loosen up, but it's still tight. We keep going and we keep going and we keep going. That's Jesus. He doesn't let go. He holds on to you. It's cool. All right? I promise you, in the midst of whatever you're going through, he will hold you. He will love you, and when you walk away, he will chase you, and he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop loving you. He's going to be there stage A, and he's going to be there stage C. We can be thankful for a father like that. I promise you, there's nothing you can't have when you have him. I'm going to pray for us out, and then Josh is going to come up here. Think about, hey, what are you holding on to? What's keeping you from that cool relationship of this father that's not going to let go? I promise you, it's better than any relationship you've ever been in. I promise you, what you get out of it is going to be 10 times better than anything that you have right now. Just take it. See it. Give it a try. You'll never turn back. So Josh, where you're at, if you would start walking up here, I'll pray for us. Come on. God, just thank you for tonight. Thankful that we can just celebrate how good you are. Your amazing story through me, but what you're going to do in everybody in this room, their own lives, knowing that you got them where you want them, knowing those mistakes that they've made, it's nothing you can't handle. Knowing that you're not going to let go. God, we can sit back in your arms for years to come, for eternity, for life, and just celebrate you. I just pray that we make that choice. Pray that we make that choice. Give you the try. You're so good. You're so good. Thank you for choosing us. Amen.